Hello students, welcome to our YouTube channel Edu 360 Degree. In this video lecture, we will discuss about some topics of first chapter, which is chemical reactions and equations of your CBSE class 10 science course. Now this chapter is under first unit, which is chemical substance, nature and behavior. Now the topics which will be discussed in this particular video lecture are as follows. First, I will provide you some introductory informations about the chemical reactions. Then I will discuss about the characteristics of chemical reactions with suitable examples. In next part, we will learn about chemical equations, balanced and unbalanced chemical equations with appropriate examples. And finally, we will learn how to balance an unbalanced chemical equation. First, we will discuss about the introductory facts of chemical reactions. So first of all, we need to know what is chemical reaction. Remember, there are processes by which we can get new substances having new properties. These processes are known as chemical reactions, which involve chemical changes. So we can say that chemical reactions are those processes in which new substances with new properties are formed. So chemical reactions will always involve chemical changes. Now what is the reason behind a chemical reaction? In a chemical reaction, you will always find that there will be breakage of the old chemical bonds which exist between the atoms of the reacting substances, and simultaneously there will be formation of new chemical bonds in the new substances. These two facts are responsible for a chemical reaction. So we can say that breaking of old chemical bonds in reacting substances and formation of new chemical bonds in new substances are responsible for the occurrence of a chemical reaction. Now the next point is very important. Always remember, during a chemical reaction, atoms of one element will never change into the atoms of another element. So what will actually happen during a chemical reaction? Remember, only there will be rearrangement of atoms which will take place between the reacting substances, and as a result we will have new substances of completely different properties. So remember, during a chemical reaction, atoms of one element do not change into those of another element. As I have said, only a rearrangement of atoms takes place between the reacting substances to form new substances of completely different properties. So in a chemical reaction, there are reacting substances as well as there are newly formed substances. The substances which will take part in a chemical reaction will be termed as reactants, and the new substances which will be formed during a chemical reaction will be termed as products. So in brief, we can say that in a chemical reaction, reactants will always be transformed into products. The products which will be formed during a chemical reaction will have properties which will be completely different from those of the reactants. Now let us discuss some examples which will give us different types of chemical reactions. The examples can be like digestion of food, formation of curd from milk, process of respiration, rusting of iron, fermentation of grapes, ripening of fruits, etc. So these are basically various examples associated with various chemical reactions. Next, we will discuss about the characteristics of chemical reactions. Remember, a chemical reaction can be identified by either of the following characteristics. Here we will discuss about 5 characteristics one by one. So start with our first characteristics, which is change in state. Remember, some chemical reactions are characterized by a change in state. Suppose we have a wax candle. If we burn that wax candle, water and carbon dioxide will be formed. Now here wax is a solid, but water is a liquid, whereas carbon dioxide is a gas. So we can say that the combustion reaction of wax candle is characterized by a change in state from solid to liquid and from solid to gas. Next, we will discuss about the second characteristics, which is change in color. Some chemical reactions can also be characterized by a change in color. For example, when we are considering the reaction between citric acid and potassium permanganate solution, we find that the purple color of potassium permanganate solution disappears and it becomes colorless. So we can say that the chemical reaction between citric acid and the purple colored potassium permanganate solution is characterized by a change in color from purple to colorless. Next, our third characteristics, which is the evolution of a gas. Remember, some chemical reactions are characterized by the evolution of a gas. For example, when zinc granules react with the dilute sulfuric acid, bubbles of hydrogen gas are formed. So, we will say that the chemical reaction between zinc and dilute sulfuric acid is basically characterized by the evolution of hydrogen gas. Next, our fourth characteristics, which is change in temperature. Some chemical reactions can also be characterized by a change in temperature. So let us consider the reaction between quicklime and water. Quicklime is nothing but calcium oxide. So we can say that when quicklime reacts with water, slaked lime is formed, which is calcium hydroxide, along with a lot of heat energy. This heat energy raises the temperature. As a result, the reaction mixture becomes hot. So we can say that the chemical reaction between quicklime and water to form slaked lime is characterized by a change in temperature. In this case, there is rise in temperature. Now our final characteristics or fifth characteristics is formation of a precipitate. Now what is a precipitate? Remember, a precipitate is nothing but a solid product which separates out from the solution during a chemical reaction. To describe it, we will consider an example. Before we start discussing this example, remember, some chemical reactions can also be characterized by the formation of a precipitate. Now let us consider the example. When we will add the potassium iodide solution to a solution of lead nitrate, we will find a yellow precipitate of lead iodide. So we can say that the chemical reaction between potassium iodide and lead nitrate is characterized by the formation of a yellow precipitate of lead iodide. So we can say that by change in state or change in color or evolution of a gas or change in temperature or formation of a precipitate, we can identify a chemical reaction. Now we need to represent these chemical reactions. So we need some method. So in our next topic, we will discuss about the chemical equations. Now, if we want to represent the chemical reaction, we need a method which will involve the symbols and formula of the substances which are taking part in that chemical reaction. So we can say that the method of representing a chemical reaction with the help of symbols and formulas of the substances involved in it is known as a chemical equation. So next we will be citing some examples of chemical equations. Now we will discuss some examples of chemical equations. So in our first example, let us consider one of our previous examples, which was the reaction between zinc metal and dilute sulfuric acid. We found that due to the reaction between zinc metal and dilute sulfuric acid, bubbles of hydrogen gas are formed. But there will be the formation of another substance which is known as zinc sulfate. So we can say that when zinc metal reacts with dilute sulfuric acid, it will form zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas. Now, this reaction can be written in words like zinc plus sulfuric acid and arrowhead zinc sulfate plus hydrogen. This type of representation is known as the word equation of the given chemical reaction. Now we will change this word equation into a chemical equation by considering the symbols and formulas of various substances involved in that particular reaction. Zinc is represented by Zn, formula of zinc is Zn, formula of sulfuric acid is H2SO4, formula of zinc sulfate is ZnSO4, and the formula of hydrogen gas is H2. So the chemical equation of that chemical reaction can be written as Zn plus H2SO4 and arrowhead ZnSO4 plus H2. Now in this reaction, Zn reacts with H2SO4. So zinc reacts with sulfuric acid. So they are known as reactants. As a result, ZnSO4 and H2 are formed. So they will be termed as the products. So we can say that the substances which will combine or react will be known as the reactants, and the new substances which will be formed or produced in a chemical reaction will be termed as products. Now here we are using an arrowhead sign. So what is the significance of this arrow sign? Remember, this arrow sign shows the direction of the reaction and it will always be pointed towards the products. So basically, the chemical equation of the chemical reaction between zinc metal and dilute sulfuric acid is nothing but Zn plus H2SO4 arrow ZnSO4 plus H2. Next, we will consider our second example. In this example, we will consider the reaction between magnesium ribbon and air. Now, we will find that when we will heat a magnesium ribbon, it will burn in air with a dazzling white flame. As a result, white powder will be formed, which will be termed as the magnesium oxide. So in this case, basically, the magnesium combines with oxygen present in air, and as a result, the magnesium oxide is formed. So our next step, we will write this chemical reaction in terms of word equation. Now what is the word equation? Magnesium, in this case, magnesium was in the form of the ribbon. So magnesium within bracket ribbon plus oxygen. Oxygen is present in air. So oxygen within bracket air. Arrowhead, over that arrowhead we will write heat because we are heating that magnesium ribbon. As a result, we are getting magnesium oxide, which is basically a white powder. Now, the chemical equation of this word equation will be Mg plus O2 arrowhead heat MgO. So in this case, magnesium is reacting with oxygen. So Mg and O2 are the reactants and the product is magnesium oxide, which is MgO. Now if we consider this particular equation, then we will find that the number of atoms in each element is not the same in both the sides of the equation. See, on the left hand side there is O2 and on the right hand side there is only O. So we can say that this is an unbalanced equation. So if we write any chemical reaction in this way, then we can term this as the skeletal chemical equation of a reaction. So in our next topic, we will be discussing about the balanced chemical equations and the unbalanced chemical equations. In our next topic, we will discuss about the balanced and unbalanced chemical equations. So first, we will start with balanced chemical equations. Now in this case, we will apply the principle of conservation of mass, which was mass can neither be created nor be destroyed, it can only be transformed. So we can say that according to the conservation of mass, in a chemical reaction, mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. So we can say that the total mass of the elements present in the products of a chemical reaction should always be equal to the total mass of the elements present in the reactants. So what is basically a balanced chemical equation? Remember, a balanced chemical equation is that equation which will always have an equal number of atoms of different elements in the reactants and products. So in other words, we can say that a balanced equation will always have an equal number of atoms of different elements on both sides of the equation. So we need an example. Let us again consider our previous example, which was the reaction between zinc metal and the dilute sulfuric acid, in which we found zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas as the products. The chemical equation was Zn plus H2SO4 arrowhead ZnSO4 plus H2. Now we will count the number of atoms of all the elements in the reactants as well as products separately. So consider the following table. If we count the number of Zn atoms on both sides of the equation, then the numbers are same 1. The number of hydrogen atoms on both sides of the chemical equation is again same 2, 2. Number of sulfur atoms on both sides of the same reaction is again the same 1, 1, and the number of oxygen atoms are 4 on both sides of the equation. So we find that there is an equal number of atoms of different elements in the reactants as well as within the products. So we can say that the above chemical equation is a balanced equation. So we can say that since the number of atoms of various elements in reactants and products are equal, the balanced chemical equation will always have equal masses of various elements in reactants and products. In our next topic, we will discuss about the unbalanced chemical equation. Now, what is an unbalanced chemical equation? If in a chemical equation we have unequal number of atoms of one or more elements in reactants and products, we will term that chemical equation as an unbalanced chemical equation. So we can say that An unbalanced chemical equation will always have an equal number of atoms of one or more elements in reactants and products. So we need an example to explain an unbalanced chemical equation. So let us consider the following example. In this example, we will consider the reaction between heated iron metal and steam. When heated iron metal reacts with steam, there will be formation of iron 2,3 oxide, which is represented by Fe3O4 and hydrogen gas. Now we will write this equation in the form of skeletal chemical equation, which is represented by the equation Fe plus H2O and arrowhead Fe3O4 plus H2. Now we will count the number of atoms of all the elements in the reactants as well as in the products separately. So we will consider the following table. Now, after going through the following table, we found that the number of hydrogen atoms are equal in reactants and products, but the number of iron and oxygen atoms are unequal. Since the number of atoms of various elements in reactants and products are unequal, we can say that an unbalanced equation or unbalanced chemical equation has unequal masses of various elements in reactants and products. But remember, this can't happen because according to the law of conservation of mass, the number of various types of atoms in reactants must always be equal to the number of same type of atoms in products. Next, we will discuss about the balancing of a chemical equation. Now, what is balancing of a chemical equation? The process by which we can equalize the atoms of various elements both on either side of a given chemical equation is known as the balancing of that chemical equation. Remember, the simple equations are basically balanced by heat and trial method. But there are steps by which we will be able to balance a chemical reaction or chemical equation. So we need to discuss about those steps. Step number 1. First of all, you will write down the chemical reaction in the form of word equation. In that word equation, the reactants will be on the left hand side of the equation while the products will be on the right hand side of the equation. Step number 2. Next, you will put the symbols and formulas of all the reactants and products in that word equation. Step number 3. Next, you will count the number of atoms of all the elements in the reactants and products separately. Step number 4. Now, you will balance the equation by equalizing the number of atoms of element which will have the maximum number of atoms. But remember, never change the formula to balance the equation. Next, try to equalize all the atoms of elements on reactant and product side by adding appropriate coefficient in front of it. Now the last step, that is step number 5. If possible, try to make the equation more informative. You can do this by indicating the physical states of the reactants and products, or by indicating the heat changes, if any, which is taking place during that reaction, and by indicating the conditions under which the reaction takes place. So these 5 steps should be followed in order to balance a chemical equation. Next, we will discuss some example of balancing of chemical equations. Now we will discuss some examples to balance a chemical equation. First of all, we start with our example number 1. We will consider the same previous chemical equation which was between the heated iron metal and steam. We found that when heated iron metal reacts with steam, it will form iron 2,3 oxide, that is Fe3O4, and hydrogen gas. Now we will write this reaction in the form of a word equation. The word equation is iron plus steam and arrowhead iron 2,3 oxide plus hydrogen. Now we will put the symbols and formulas of all the substances in that above word equation. So we will get the skeletal chemical equation. So the skeletal chemical equation of the above word equation is Fe plus H2O and arrowhead Fe3O4 plus H2. In our next step, we will count the number of atoms of all the elements in the reactants and products separately. So consider this table. Now, if we follow this table, then we will find that number of hydrogen atoms are equal on both sides of the equation, but the number of oxygen atoms on the left hand side of the equation is only 1, whereas the number of oxygen atoms on the right hand side are 4. Similarly, the number of iron atoms on the left side of the equation is 1, while that on the right hand side of the equation are 3. So we need to balance this inequality. Now we will consider our step number 4. First of all, we will equalize the number of atoms of element which has the maximum number of atoms, that is oxygen. So we are writing this equation as Fe plus 4H2O, because on the right hand side of that equation there were 4 oxygen atoms, so we have placed 4 in front of H2O. So the equation becomes Fe plus 4H2O arrowhead Fe3O4 plus H2. Now we need to equalize all the remaining atoms of elements on the reactant and product side, and this can be done by adding appropriate coefficient in front of them. So we will have 3 Fe, because we need to equalize the iron atoms. So 3 Fe plus 4 H2O, that is represented by an arrowhead, that is equal to Fe3O4 plus 4 H2. So this equation contains equal number of iron, hydrogen and oxygen atoms in both the reactants and products. So we can term this as a balanced equation. Now we need to make this equation more informative. Iron is a solid substance, steam is a gas, iron oxide is again a solid substance, and hydrogen is a gas. So we will write the above chemical equation with the state symbol. So the final representation will be 3 Fe within bracket S, S stands for solid, plus 4H2O within bracket G, which is representing the gaseous state of water, that is steam. Fe3O4 iron oxide is again solid, plus 4H2, which is the hydrogen gas. So we have balanced the chemical equation which is representing the reaction between the heated iron and the steam. Now we will consider the second example of balancing of a chemical equation. In this example, we will consider the reaction between methane and oxygen. We find that when methane burns in oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide and water. So first of all, we will write the word equation of the reaction, which is nothing but methane plus oxygen and arrowhead carbon dioxide plus water. Next, we will write the skeletal chemical equation of this word equation by using the symbols and formulas of all the substances. So the skeletal chemical equation is CH4. CH4 is the formula of methane plus O2, that is of oxygen, arrowhead, CO2 carbon dioxide plus H2. Next, we will count the number of atoms of all the elements in the reactants and products separately. So again consider this table. Now if we consider this table, then we will find that the number of carbon atoms on both sides of the equation is same, that is 1. But the number of hydrogen atoms on left hand side of the equation are 4, while there are 2 hydrogen atoms on the right hand side of the equation. Similarly, there are 2 oxygen atoms on the left hand side of the equation, whereas there are 3 oxygen atoms on the right hand side. Now we will equalize the number of atoms of the element which has the maximum number of atoms. So we will equalize hydrogen. So we have the equation CH4 plus O2 arrowhead CO2 plus 2H2O. Now we will equalize all the atoms of the elements on reactant and product side by adding the appropriate coefficient. Now the final balancing condition becomes CH4 plus 2O2 arrowhead CO2 plus 2H2O. Now if we consider this particular chemical equation, then we find that this equation contains equal number of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms in the reactants as well as in the products. So this is a balanced equation. Now we will apply the physical states. Methane is a gas, oxygen is a gas, carbon dioxide is a gas, and in this case H2O is representing the vapor or steam, that is, it is also a gas. So we can write the above chemical equation in a more informative way, like CH4 within bracket G, G stands for gas, plus 2O2 G within bracket arrowhead, CO2 G plus 2H2O, which is again the steam, that is gas, plus evolution of heat. So this represents the balancing of the chemical equation which involves the reaction between methane and oxygen. So we have finished the video lecture of the first part of chapter 1, chemical reactions and equations. Now I am providing you an assignment. This assignment contains 5 questions. Try to solve all these 5 questions. To get the solution of the given assignment and to avail more assignments with solutions, please WhatsApp your details to the following number 99030390009. In your WhatsApp details, mention your name, locality, school, board and your class. In our next video lecture, we will discuss on various types of chemical reactions, oxidation and reduction reactions, and effects of oxidation reaction in our daily life. If you like this video, then please subscribe our YouTube channel Edu360 Degree and hit the bell icon to get the early notifications. Thank you.